and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of our Wednesday Wellness here at Gravitas Med Spa. Let me see. Okay, let me just bring you on board.
Hi, everyone.
And so before we get started, if you are thinking about starting on Ozempic, semaglutide, Monjaro, or any of similar synthetic medications, I highly encourage for you to stick around and watch this video. Or if you're already on it, I encourage for you to watch because you will gain a lot of information with us today. So it's really a good topic that we are going to deep dive tonight with my co-host, Dr. Angelica, of course, our integrative holistic coach. But before
Hi,
we get started,
everyone.
I want you all to um, join me in wishing my daughter an advance happy birthday because it's her
Thank
birthday
you.
tomorrow. I wish you all the best in life. As you always know we're here to always support you in everything that you do, and I am so grateful to have an amazing, wonderful, beautiful, and smart daughter like you.
Thank you, Mom. I really appreciate that. So we'll
So
get going. So, as my mom so kindly introduced me, I'm Dr. Angelica, for those of you who don't know me, and we're going to get into a very controversial yet powerful topic around GLP-1. This is the hormone that plays an essential role in weight management, blood sugar regulation, and metabolism. So, today, what we're really going to be covering is what is GLP-1, why is it important, natural versus synthetic GLP-1s, and how they work, the natural way to promote GLP-1, and pros and cons of natural versus synthetic forms, and of course, answering any questions that you guys might have.
And if you're watching us live, say hello in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. And feel free to drop your questions as we go along. And I also encourage for you to like and share this video or tag your friends, your family, whoever you think can benefit from the information that we are going to share today. What if we can tell you that there's a natural way on how you're going to boost your GLP-1 hormone in a safest and natural way possible? So stick around as we continue to deep dive on that. So go ahead, Angel, explain what GLP-1 is.
Yes, so you may have heard this circulating. What exactly is GLP-1? So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide, and that is a hormone produced in our small intestine. It belongs when we eat. So it belongs to a group of hormones called incretins, which are responsible for managing blood sugar and digestion. So the main functions of GLP-1 in our body is A, regulating blood sugar. GLP-1 stimulates insulin release from the pancreas when blood sugar levels are high. At the same time, it also releases another hormone called glucagon. And that's a hormone that raises blood sugar, ensuring that we have stable glucose levels consistently. Another role it plays is slowing down our digestion. So, GLP-1 is known for helping delay gastric emptying. And this means that food stays in our stomach a lot longer. So, it helps signal to our brains that we're still full. So, it prevents any blood sugar spikes or cravings for snacking. And then the next thing is if it helps with delaying gastric emptying, it also helps suppress our appetite. GLP-1 interacts with appetite control centers in the brain, reducing cravings and promoting satiety. And lastly, it also supports with heart health. GLP-1 has anti-inflammatory effects and can improve blood vessel function, which also helps reduce cardiovascular risk. So now a lot of different synthetic forms are out in the market. So here's what we need to know between natural versus synthetic forms of this particular hormone. Um, well, to start, or I'll actually go into that into a little bit, just in a little bit. But the last function it actually plays a role in is promoting weight management, since it helps with hunger and stabilizing energy levels. GLP-1 plays a major role for helping us achieve and maintain a healthy weight. So essentially, just to summarize it, it's an important hormone for preventing blood sugar crashes, overeating, and metabolic imbalances.
That's why, as you can see, like from all over the news, all over social media, GLP-1 has become the hype and the major focus in weight loss management, in diabetes management. But the good news is it can be done in the natural and safest way possible. So there's a natural way to support our body's GLP-1 production. And first, let's go talk about or discuss about what are the natural GLP-1 boosters. Because our bodies really are designed to produce GLP-1 naturally, and certain lifestyle habits can help boost these levels. So first is eating high fiber rich foods such as leafy greens, oats, and beans because it supports the GLP-1 release. And then consuming healthy fats such as avocados, nuts, olive oil because it enhances the GLP-1 response. And then eating protein rich foods such as eggs, fish, and lean meats because it stabilizes the blood sugar. And then doing some exercises because physical activity, especially after meals, it naturally boosts the GLP-1 as well. And last is supporting your gut health. So, of course, that's why they said, everything stems from the gut because it is. So, that's why it's very important that we take care of our gut because it helps improves the hormone balance.
Right. And that's such a great list because it's all actionable things that we can already start implementing day to day. But let's be honest, I'm sure a lot of you might be thinking, well, it's really hard to actually hit all of the nutrient dense foods that we're supposed to or the adequate daily intake of fiber. So, this is where supplementation can also make a big difference. So, what we're going to go into now is talking about the synthetic forms of GLP-1, the medications and the benefits. So, let's first talk about the synthetic GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. These are what we call GLP-1 receptor agonists, meaning that they mimic the natural hormone to help regulate appetite and blood sugar. These different medications have been shown to help with weight loss by reducing hunger, improving blood sugar control in type 2 diabetics. However, they do come with side effects that's just as important for us to know, such as nausea, digestive issues, and even long-term risks such as gastroparesis and thyroid cancer. So this is really important because once again, there's so much mainstream information that's being put out about, if you are experiencing difficulties with weight loss, why not opt for this external medication that can essentially do what our bodies are meant to produce?
Yes, and so one of the easiest and the most effective natural way to support our GLP-1 production is through this protocol that we are about to share with you. That is so easy to take and follow. And a lot of people who are using this are already feeling and experiencing the benefits and the life transformation that it brought to them. And now, so we want to bring our friends and colleagues to share with us about this protocol and also to share her experience because she was once using this GLP-1 medication and switched to this protocol. So we want to bring in Megan Bryan, who was an exercise physiologist who ran a cardiac rehab and now a health coach, to share with us about how Feel-Great system works, and also Denise Bradley, who is an RN for over 28 years and have tried the GLP-1 meds before she found out about this Feel-Great system. And she will share her experience about this amazing protocol. So let's welcome Megan and Denise.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for
Hi,
joining us
ladies.
tonight.
Hi.
Thank you. Hello. Good to be here.
Hi, everybody.
So, Megan, would you like to share how the Feel Great system works?
Sure. So the feel great system, as you mentioned, one of the things that help to trigger your body's production of GLP-1 is fiber, right? So part of the feel great system is a very a very diverse blend of fibers, 7 different fibers specifically, and that helps to promote more GLP-1 production. The other thing is the yerba mate. We have a yerba mate that has high concentrations of something called chlorogenic acid, which is the main polyphenol in the yerba mate that also helps your body to produce its own GLP-1 with no side effects. So you're not getting any of it's actually protecting your muscles. You're not seeing the muscle withering. You're not seeing any sort of bone density decrease. You're not having the nausea or the slow digestion in your stomach, which nobody wants. And this is something that can be utilized for a very long-term approach, not just a small, short window. So when you take both of these together, you're helping your body increase its own production of GLP-1 with no side effects, and you're able to utilize this for longer periods of time, thus seeing more consistent improvements in your weight and other things in your health.
Do you have anything to add, Denise?
In terms of, how it works, the the Feel Great protocol works just as effectively, if not better, than the GLP-1 medications. I mean, being on the medications, there were so many side effects that you felt and that you were actually taking other medications to help you get through the side effects. Whereas this is just following, a food protocol basically, and you're not having to take medication to feel better. If that makes sense.
Can
Yeah.
you share, like, how did you get started and what was your experience first, when you started on the GLP-1 medications? And then how did you transition from this protocol?
So I actually had overcome a hyperthyroid Graves' disease, and I was struggling with all of a sudden starting to gain a lot of weight. I wasn't sleeping well, and I knew that there was insulin resistance going on because I had been reading a lot about symptoms of insulin resistance, but I didn't really understand, what it meant to reverse that or fix it. And my doctor never talked to me about it or explained it. Um, they were just focusing on my high cortisol levels, and they told me that, "Oh, well, if you go on, the GLP-1, it will help lower your cortisol. It will help to, lower your A1C, and it'll help you to, feel better. You'll start to sleep better, all of these things." So that was why I first started on the GLP-1s, and that was back in 2023 in January of that year. I went on them for 8 weeks, and they sent me because they were concerned about the high cortisol. They sent me for some testing. I had to go for a CAT scan and a few other tests, and they said, "Oh, you have to go see a surgeon. Your gallbladder is very full of gallstones." And I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "I don't have any symptoms." They're like, "You don't have any symptoms?" I'm like, "No, nothing." So they made me go to a surgeon. They told me I couldn't take the medication anymore because with the gallstones, they felt like I would rupture my gallbladder or have some serious side effects. So I went to see the surgeon, and we had a long talk, and I shared with her that I wasn't having any symptoms, but she was more concerned about my history of having issues with anesthesia, and she was, listening to other things that had happened to me when I had to go through surgery. And she was concerned about my high cortisol. And she said, "I don't think gallbladder surgery is for you right now." She said, I think you're higher risk. So, and I think because you're not having symptoms, I think you can go longer, with your gallbladder the way it is. And she sent me on my way. And at that point, I was so discouraged because I was like, well, I got to figure out something that I got to do because there's got to be a natural way. And actually, I had saw a video about the Feel Great system, but as a nurse, I didn't believe what I was seeing or hearing because I was like, "Oh my gosh, this can't be possible." Like, I've never heard of this product. I've never heard of this protocol. Like, this is just somebody sharing, false information. Like, I just didn't believe it. And then fast forward, the weight I kept gaining more and more weight, and I was panicking because um, I was almost to the weight that I had, been when I started my Graves journey. And I was really upset because that I had lost over 85 pounds when I reversed my hyperthyroid Graves. And I didn't want to be back 85 pounds heavier. I knew how I felt, and I knew I was already feeling unhealthy. And the weight that I was gaining, it seemed like I was gaining the fat faster when I was regaining it after I had been off the GLP-1. So, like, I definitely noticed my belly is fuller more than it was before from the injections. And my when I went back to the doctor, she cleared me and she said, "I really think this is your only option. Go back on the medication." Well, this time I didn't meet all the criteria to go back on the Mounjaro, so they put me on Zepbound because I met the criteria for Zepbound, and I had to fight insurance to get on it. But one of the other things I should say, when I went back on it, I was only able to go on it for 8 weeks, and then because of the shortages and the cost of it, they start you out at $25, but each month it goes up and up and up and up what you pay. So by 8 weeks, I was up to $350 just for that. And they were saying the next refill was gonna be over $600 to fill. And I was like, "I don't wanna spend this kind of money every month." So, at that time, I had been reading books and trying to figure out, like, what am I doing wrong with my diet and with my eating? I gotta figure this out naturally. And a friend came to me about the Feel Great protocol, and she's like, "Denise, I really think this could help you." I said, I actually heard about this last year and I didn't believe it, but because you're coming to me, I'm gonna try it." So I went on it because it had the 90-day money back guarantee, and I figured, well, what could I lose? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll get my money back. That's how I was thinking, but I couldn't believe in the first 2 weeks I was already seeing results, like my achiness in my joints and everything, because I work as a nurse, so I'm 12, 13-hour shifts, and I'm high intensity because I'm in ICU, so there's constantly things going on. Some days I don't sit the whole day. Maybe I'll sit a few minutes, and sometimes I don't get to eat when I'm there. So I'm running the whole day, and I would come home exhausted. The next day, I wouldn't have energy to to deal with the day. So it was really hard on my body, and when I was taking the GLP-1 medications, I was tired all the time. I didn't know if I was eating the right foods. Nobody gave me any guidance. Nobody helped me, to know what I was doing right or wrong. Um, and the side effects were I had nausea all the time, and the big thing was the constipation. And my doctor actually told me, she's like, "Oh, just take Metamucil or, take Miralax or something like that." And I'm like, I already know Miralax isn't really good, so I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be stuck taking all of these, fiber supplements. I wanna know what I'm taking is helping me get through things, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So, definitely the fiber matrix that we take in this protocol is 100% different than anything I would have done before in terms of fiber, and definitely I actually noticed my gut healing with this. Um, I actually had, an infection that I was on antibiotics, 2 runs of antibiotics, and my gut was like crazy, and being on the protocol, I actually felt it heal. It took a while to heal, but within 6 weeks, I felt like my gut was so much better. Like, I don't have any of the symptoms anymore. So I do know that there is a difference in the products. So, and I wouldn't have felt that way before.
Wow, that's amazing. And you have mentioned also earlier that your husband was on that, right?
Yeah.
And can you share that? Because I was like, shocked, like when he stopped, like he gained that back, right?
Yeah.
And how fast?
Yep, he was diagnosed back in 2013 with diabetes. And when we found out he was actually going for cancer surgery, he had developed a melanoma that was a Clark 5, which meant it involved his lymph nodes. And we we walked into surgery and they're like, "Why didn't you tell us you're diabetic?" And he's like, "I'm not diabetic." And he's like, they're like, "Your A1C is like 12." We're like, "What?" So, so we were like, "Okay." So then we were dealing with him with cancer and then dealing with now he's diabetic and what do we do? And they couldn't get his high blood pressure and his diabetes under control. They had him at one point on 6 medications, and a lot of them were oral, and then they tried him on an injectable, and then they decided to add Ozempic finally, so that they were hoping it would lower his A1C, and it did. It helped lower the A1C. He was on it for 3 years or just about 3 years, and then all of a sudden, it just stopped working. And we were like, "What?" And he just didn't lose any more weight. He didn't move on the numbers on his A1C anymore. And he gained 25 pounds back like very, very quickly. It was like within a matter of a couple of weeks. And he felt uncomfortable. And then he started to notice like all these changes in himself. And I'm like, wow. So when Dr. Bickman talks about that they stop working, he's right. They do stop working. We were firsthand to see that and witness it. But my husband, 2 weeks after I started on the protocol, he started taking the protocol and he noticed a big difference right away. Within that first month of him being on the products, he had to go for his, A1C check again. And it was the first time ever he jumped almost a whole point. I think it was like 8.4 to like 7.3, something like that. It was like almost a full point jump. And we'd never, ever seen that ever in all the years. So we knew there was something different with this protocol. And then he got off his blood pressure medicine right away. And then the next check, he was off all of the diabetes medications. Like
Wow.
everything was stopped. And so he was off high blood pressure, he was off all of the diabetes meds, and this was in 4 months. So the
Wow.
first month was the blood pressure meds, and we never really understood that. I mean, as a nurse, I didn't understand that blood pressure was linked to insulin resistance. And I talk about this at work all the time, and people think I'm crazy when I say that. I pretty much know when I walk into work and I see these patients coming in sick, they have heart disease, they have all these things going on. They're having a stroke, they're having high blood pressure, whatever it is, they're having AFib. I'm like, oh, they're insulin resistant and they don't know it. Oh, what's their A1C? Did they check their A1C? So I'm seeing the pattern in everybody now, which is scary.
Wow. Such a great testimonial about this amazing product. I really love hearing the changes that it gets. And the best is no side effects. It's all natural, you
Yep.
know? It's not like this synthetic GLP-1 medication with tons of side effects. And the other thing too that that's why the anesthesia organization, they created this protocol that if you're going to surgery, you need to be off of that medication for at least a week because they found the risk of aspiration because of the food left in the stomach. So when you're under, the anesthesia, you might throw up and you might aspirate or food goes to your lungs. So it's
Yeah.
really very high risk and we don't want to, go through that. So there's really a lot of side effects of these medications. That's why. And I also, from my clients, I've heard some of my clients who are on this medication. They said that they use it for a year and they only lost 10 pounds, and then they stop using it because they only get a lot of side effects rather than the benefits. And then when they stop, they gain 10 pounds back and more. That's
Yeah.
the problem with, just doing these medications without changing any lifestyle, without doing any lifestyle changes at all, right? And
Right.
so that's why the best part about the feel great system, because it works with your body rather than forcing artificial changes like some medications do, right? And attacking it or controlling, helping with insulin resistance so that it will help a lot of these different symptoms, a lot of diseases that insulin resistance does to your body,
Yeah.
right? And I'm really amazed with the study that was conducted by Dr. Bickman, who is the top world scientist in the world, and he studied the effect of the Unimate and found the increase of GLP-1 by 70% in the fasted state without any side effects. Like, isn't that amazing?
It is.
And I've read in some other like natural GLP-1 supplements, they only increase the GLP-1 by 20-30%. So this one by 70%, it's really jaw dropping. It's really amazing about the effect of this. And the best part about this is you will feel the effect like right away because it controls the hunger, because that's what GLP-1 hormone does. It signals the brain and your gut that you're full. So even if your eyes and your mouth still wants to eat, your tummy says no, because
Hmm.
this is it. I already reached my limit. So that's why, and that happens to me personally and to almost all of my clients that are now using the products, because they said I just take that, start in the morning and then do the balance before I eat, and I couldn't finish what I put on my plate. So it's really, amazing how you will feel right away the effects and benefits of this protocol, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And and the other part of that is, like you mentioned, when you're using some of those medications that are synthetic, there's no lifestyle change that goes into it. So the second you stop, you are still, the same person that you were before. But with this system, what I love about it is that it's actually feeding your microbiome. So it's feeding those gut bacteria, it's prebiotic. And as your gut bacteria start to get healthier and healthier, that starts to drive your cravings. So even if you stop doing the system for a little while, now you are at a healthier state. Your gut microbiome has already improved in health drastically. On top of the fact that this is a natural, helps your body naturally improve its GLP-1 production, like you mentioned, by 70%. And the other thing I wanted to mention is there's no contraindications. So I get a lot of people who are like, I'm already taking this GLP-1, or I'm on Ozempic or whatnot. Do I have to stop that to start this? And the answer is no. You can use this with that. You do want to be paying attention to your blood sugar. What I find a lot of my customers will do is they will wean themselves off,
Mhm.
slowly but surely, with their doctor's knowledge and support.
Exactly.
I just wanted to say too that the big thing that my husband and I noticed is because with the GLP-1s, he was not becoming more sensitive. He was not becoming more insulin sensitive. And with the protocol, especially with the tea, it helps you to increase your sensitivity. Like he's noticing his numbers below 100 for the first time because of the protocol. I mean, that never ever happened before,
And
ever.
when you say sensitivity, you mean insulin sensitivity. That's what we want to be at, is an insulin sensitive state.
Yes, correct. Yeah, because once you reverse that insulin resistance and you become more sensitive, then your body does what it needs to do and it can function better.
Right.
So, because you do need to have insulin working properly in your body, doing what it needs to do. And if it's constantly being turned off, then you're being limited. So,
Right.
That's why this is best done with intermittent fasting or
yes.
restricted eating time so that your body will get the chance to rest and not overproduce the insulin, so that the insulin sensitivity will not be experienced by the body. So that's why, and it helps prolong the fasting period when you take this supplement. I just finished my 42-hour fasting and I feel great. And it's really amazing. I thought I couldn't do it, but because of this protocol, I was able to do it. So now I'm programming myself that I'm gonna do it at least like once a month in order to, cleanse and activate the fat burning mode of the body. Because when you're on the fasting state, you are turning on that fat burning mode of the bodies because you're not feeding your body with a glucose. So there's no other source of energy or to burn except those stored fat, which especially in the midsection. So
Mhm.
that's why we are turning that on. So that's why that's the other benefit of combining this with the intermittent fasting. So for those of you who are watching right now, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below and we'll try to answer them if we see the questions right here. And if you are interested about learning more about this great, amazing product, just send us a message or comment below if you want to try this product. And this is a life changing product that it's really doable and it's very easy to follow, right?
Easy and simple. If my dad, who's 80 years old, can do it, anyone can do this.
Exactly. Anybody can do this, not just for weight loss, but for the overall health and wellness journey of, our body. Right? So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So don't forget to like this video and share to your friends and family who can benefit from the information that we shared today. And if you need guidance or want more information about this, we'll be more than happy to help you. So just comment down below or send us a message, and we'll be here to guide you as you start the process. Thank you so much, Denise and Megan, for joining us tonight. And I really appreciate. I know,
Thank you
Denise,
so
it's
much,
already
ladies.
late on your time. It's you're in the Eastern time, so it's about what time is it now? 10:30. Thank you so much for staying. And Megan, are you back in? Are you still in Pacific time?
I'm back in Pacific Standard Time. Yes, Arizona goes to Pacific, so I'm the same as you guys in California now.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
until
ladies.
our next Wednesday Wellness Facebook Live. So stay tuned again for another great topic next Wednesday. Thank you all
Great.
so
Happy
much.
birthday, Angelica.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
birthday.
Appreciate you
All
all.
right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.